Hi everyone, this is going to be our stretching series that we're going to do for the first week of the splits challenge. We'll mix it up a little bit each week so that you get some different stretches involved. So where we're going to start for this one is to do some roll downs through the body. You want to start with your feet underneath your hips, hands down long by the sides, and we're going to roll down through the front. So as you reach for your toes, have a soft bend through your knees, and then you want to roll and stack your spine up. So we're just looking to get a little bit of movement. On the side as you watch this one, let's do 3 of these. We're going to roll down, soft bend through the knees, hands reach down towards your toes, and you're stretching your back and the backs of your legs. Roll on up to standing, and one more. Reach, and roll on up. Next up, we're going to take our legs out into a wider stance. We're going to roll down with straight legs, reaching for the ground. Roll on up, and then we're going to go down to each side. So reach down one leg, hold your ankle, pull your chest into your knee, feel a stretch at the back of your leg. And then head over to the other side, pulling in, getting a stretch. So keep both legs straight while you're doing this one. Then you can grab a hold of both ankles, draw your chest in, which is going to stretch down the back of both legs, and reach your chest between your both knees. And roll on up. Next up, we are going to come into our front split stretches. So we're going to position ourselves that you've got your feet slightly apart, both toes face forwards, hips face forwards. We're going to keep the hips square throughout these front splits. Popping your hands onto your hips, you're going to arch your chest forward until you create a flat back position. So from the side, you've got 2 straight legs, hands on hips, and arching forward. This makes it a nice active stretch throughout the backs of your legs. So we're going to hold it there for 1 breath. Then you're going to walk your hands down your shins and reach to wherever you can. This might be on your legs, or you may be able to reach further down towards the ground. Whilst we're here, we're feeling a stretch down the back of both legs. And just hold it there for a couple of breaths. From there, we are going to reach your hands further forward and take your back leg up to the ceiling. We're going to pulse your leg up for 5 little kicks up here, and I want you to focus on squeezing your butt muscle to lift that leg a little bit higher. Bend your knee and bring it in so that it touches the other knee, and then pull your chest in closer. This one might hurt down the back of your legs. It's a bit of a nervy stretch one, but just breathe through it. They say that a smile always helps while you're stretching. So just so you can see what this one looks like from the front, we've got our knees side by side, hands towards the ground. Okay, from there, we're going to take it into a lunge. This is going to go in towards your hip flexors. So you have one knee forward, you're going to keep your knee directly over your shin, and then push your hips forwards. So in this position, we are opening up our hip flexor. We're going to be nice and upright through the spine, pressing the hips as far as you can comfortably go. Holding it there for a breath, I'm just going to show you what this looks like from the front. So pushing forwards, you're sending your hip forwards and down to the ground, and that's going to open through the front here. We're then going to take one hand down to the ground, turn your chest towards your knee, stretch your fingertips up to the ceiling. This is going to give you some rotation through your spine and just changes the way that we're stretching through that hip flexor. Now we're going to take it into a stretch through the back of the leg. So we straighten the front knee and we push back through the hips. You want to make sure that your hip bones stay facing forwards and you've got nice square hips, and then reach your chest down towards your knee. We're going to put some pressure through the heel, and you should feel that activate all along the back line of the body. Okay, so holding it there for a breath, and I'm going to show you a side view of this one. So we started from our hip flexor, we're
going to lengthen back, straighten the front knee, hips stay square, so we're not going to turn our hips, they just pull back, nice straight leg, and reaching down. If you're quite tight in the back of your legs, you may need to do this with a bent leg, and that's perfectly fine. You just, as long as you're getting the place where you feel the stretch at the back of your leg, and then you reach your chest forward as far as you feel comfortable. So now that we've stretched it there, we're then going to bring it back into our hip flexor stretch. Make sure that you keep that nice long line straight up and down from your knee to your ankle. We're going to pop your hand back onto the ground again, turn your chest towards your knee, and pick up your back foot. As you press your hips forward in this one, you'll find that you are getting a stretch in the front of your thigh. So reaching there, holding. And then we're going to release. Stretch back again, toes up to the ceiling this time. So we're flexing our foot while we've got our straight back leg, straight front leg I should say. Keep your hips squared and then pull your chest down towards your leg. Hold it there for a breath, pressing down into the heel so you feel the stretch on the back of the leg. And then we're coming forwards again. From here, we are going to slide down into your splits. So just creep your legs along to wherever you can reach. You might find that if you are quite tight through your hips and your legs, you won't be able to head down too far, and that's fine. This is just a starting point. So reach to wherever you can, but then push up through your hands so that you can straighten both legs. This allows you to make it an active stretch in your splits, and that's going to protect all of your joints. What you can do each time is then release a little bit further into it and then straighten again. Release, stretch, straighten. So you can do that for wherever your splits are at on that side. When you finish, come out of it, give a little wriggle to the hips, do that standing if you need to, and then we're going to proceed to do it on the other side. So we start one leg in front of the other, hands on hips, arching forward. Walk your hands down your leg, reaching your chest down towards your knee. If you can reach to the ground, go for it. From there, we step the hands forward, take the back leg up towards the ceiling, and we've got 5 little pulses of the leg. This is helping us for active flexibility so that when we're doing stretches like splits up in the air on any aerial silks or flying leaps or anything like that, that you are nice and strong through the body. Bend your knee, place it beside the other knee. You can bring your hands a little closer if you want to, and pull your chest in towards your knee. Stepping back into a lunge, place your knee down on the ground and your foot is flat. Hands are coming up and we're pushing the hips forward and down, and just check that you have your knee directly over your ankle. We're going to place the hands onto the ground and then take one hand up to the ceiling so you're turning your chest towards your knee and reaching up, getting a spine twist. Hand comes down to the ground and we're just going to push our hips back as we straighten the front leg. Check that your hips are square and then fold forward. So reach that chest down, press your heel into the ground. We're going to bend forward. Again, turn your chest towards your knee, picking up your back foot, and now we're getting a thigh stretch as we press the hips forward. Release that foot gently, turn your hands back to square off your hips, lengthen the front leg, hips draw back, remembering that they're square, and then flex your toes up towards the ceiling. Hold it there and fold your chest in towards your knee. We're going to bend it back one more time, getting that stretch through the front hip flexor, and then sliding on into your splits on this side. So coming down as far as you can and then pressing up so that you've got active legs, pressing through each of your feet and lifting your hips high, and then sink into it, stretch a little further, straighten both legs. If you can, walk your hands closer towards the center of your body so you've got a nice upright spine, and sinking down. We're then going to come out of that side, sit down onto your hips, rock from side to release, and we are all done then with your front splits. Stretching. So that's a nice stretch that you can do, little stretch series that you can do every day, and we're going to do stretches 5 out of 7 days to progress with your splits flexibility. Next stretches we're going to do is going to be for your middle splits. So for these stretches, the first one we are going to do is to take your knees out wide, hands onto your hips and pressing your hips down to the ground. So you want to lower your hips as much as you can, and with your knees, you are pushing them outwards so that they head towards your toes. Okay. From there, we're then going to go into a side stretch. So pressing down, you want to keep your heels on the ground, so both heels on the ground. Keep your chest upright and then sinking the hips down. So this, depending on where your flexibility at, will depend on how far down you go. If you are up here, that is fine as long as you are feeling a stretch down the inner thigh. That's what the goal is for this stretch. Then let's head to the other side. Press down through the heel, feel that activation all along the inner thigh. And let's do one more each side. Beautiful. From there, we're going to come forward onto the knees. Make sure your feet are directly behind your knees and come onto your hands wherever you are comfortable. We're going to rock backwards and forwards through this position. So this is just getting some movement through the joints in the hips. And just so that you can see where the position of the hips starts from. So you've got hips directly in line with the knees, and you're just going to push gently forwards and backwards, getting a slight stretch. The next thing that we're going to do for our middle splits is to take one knee out to the side and then bring your heel in line with your knee. So we're going to have knee, hips and heel in one long line, and then slide down to wherever you feel your stretch. From here we're going to feel like we've got the heel pushing into the ground and drawing it together towards this knee. So we lift up through the hips and feel the activation on the inner side of our legs. And then we're going to release, stretch a little further, and then draw it together. We've got a third one, pull it together, and then we're going to release from that side. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So knee, hips, and heel are in one long line. So from this side, knee, hips, and heel, all in one long line. We slide the foot away and press the heel into the ground, draw the hips together, and then sink a little bit further down, draw it together, sink down, and drawing together. Nice work. Then from there, we're going to slide down into your middle splits. So wherever they are at for you is where we're starting from. So no judgment on yourself. Sliding in, coming to wherever you can reach. When you get down here, I want you to then do the same activation that you were just doing in each leg. So we're going to press the heels into the ground, draw your hip bones together, and then sink down. Reach a little further, draw them together, and sink down. And then we're going to sit back out of that, bring the feet together, bring the knees up and down to release your hip flexors, or stretch out however you need to. So that's our stretch series that we're going to do for our middle splits for this week. So, if you have any questions, please post them in the comments below and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Otherwise, happy stretching.